So, so I believe this is going to be our last and final video of our trailer rebuild, which is wiring. So wiring the lights and everything so they work. I got it connected to the truck. I have the truck's four-ways on. I've got a little lead going to the pigtail on the trailer. Now I've pulled up the wire harness and everything from the trailer itself, and basically what you're going to want to do is isolate which is the signal, which is the brake lights and everything on here. Now what I've got is I've got one of the old lights. So what I'll do is I'll basically do the trial and error method. Just start touching stuff until the light lights up. You know, on this set here, it's color coded, so it makes it easier. On some of the other trailers and stuff that I've done, there are no color coding, so it's pretty much so now that you got her flashing, we'll go step on the brake. So basically I had a ground issue here. I've got signal lights and brake lights. I had to hook up an extra ground. So now what I would do is I'd take all this back apart and put my connectors on her. And then give her a little crimp. Now I always like to double crimp. Do one and then do one up. Just a little bit. You don't want to go over half, because in that way if you go over half, then you're into the other end's connector. And you don't want to go too shallow, or else you miss the little metal part and end up just crimping the plastic, which doesn't really hold. Now on my electrical connections that I do, I always like to put heat shrink. Basically all heat shrink really does is it seals around your connectors, and by sealing around your connectors it keeps the moisture and water and such out. The black stuff here is what's called wire loom or wire protector or whatever, right? Basically it just protects the wire from, you know, rocks, mud, whatever. And you hook up your wires back up. If you forget which one's which, then you should be able just to stick them in the end of your connector here and determine which one's which one. So the black goes to the brown. So then what I do is I come over here, take the brown, take the black, give them a good old twist. Some people like to use Marrettes like these on their connecting, on their electrical. I don't have any of the other ones. Some people like to use those ones where you squeeze with the pliers and they snap together. Basically what it is it pierces the wire. Basically it breaks your wire in two, pretty much, which then connects the new wire to it. Now that way is probably okay. Just any time I've ever done it that way, I've always ended up with electrical problems later on down the road. So stick your end in. If you got to give her another little twist, give her a twist. On here you have your yellow dot, your red dot, and your blue dot. Of course, the dots are consistent with the size of the connector you're using. So you put your brown to your brown. Then put your yellow to your yellow. So basically at this point you turn them back over, make sure you double check to make sure they're working, and then you slide your heat shrink over the connector pretty much like that, and you shrink them, heat them up, and they basically shrink when they get hot. Push your wire back in the loom. And then take a little round of electrical tape, tape up the end. Like that. Now over on the other side there was the factory connection still. You can either leave them alone or you can go over there and heat shrink them, kind of like you did on this side. We're going to go over and have a look at them and see how they are. So basically on this side I left the factory connections alone. I just chose to tape it real well. I could have took it apart and heat shrank it and all that good stuff, but you know, whatever. So now we'll install everything underneath. For the back ones, just fish the wire up and out, put the backing plug into the back of the light, slide her in there. Just like that. And you basically repeat the steps for the other side. Give everything a once over, make sure it's all working still. And then you crawl underneath with a few zip ties and zip tie everything up. Okay, we're just going to give her a once over here to make sure everything's working. Okay, that signal's working. Right signal's working. And right marker light's working. Okay, it's got both brake lights. Brake light right signal. And brake lights left signal. Okay, she's got tail lights all the way around. Side marker lights, tail lights. She's all wired, all lit up. Orange ones at the front. It's funny, these are red, but they look orange on the camera. So yeah, let's crawl underneath and do a few zip ties. Okay, so basically there was this extra piece of wire harness here that the must be like a universal type thing that fits pretty much any one of their trailers, because there's no other reason why they didn't cut it short. So okay guys, so basically you want to make sure your heat shrink is kind of centered over your connector. And what I always do is I always seal one end first. Basically like that. Do it with the other ones. You don't want to get her too hot, and you don't want to burn the surrounding wires. But you got to make sure she shrinks fairly decent. Then we'll give her a wrap with electrical tape. What I've seen some people do is then they'll get a bigger piece of heat shrink, slide it over top, and basically then bundle all of these in one great big heat shrink, and then basically it keeps them extra sealed. Salt, you know, from winter, such like that, will actually corrode, because these are just little copper wires. They'll actually corrode them, and then the copper will break. And of course, when the wire breaks, it's not going to work. Okay, and once you got her taped, tuck it all up. We'll give her a few zip ties and see how it goes. Okay, we'll give her a wipe down to get the paint marker off. And you gotta love the good old acrylic lacquer thinner. Gotta love the smell of this stuff. It's like, I don't know how to explain it unless you've actually, you know, worked with it or smelt it or... You probably, if you're using this stuff, you're probably not going to want to be, you know, smoking or nothing around it. But, you know, it works wonderful. I use it for wiping everything down, pretty much everything. Wipe down, got all the paint off. Okay, next thing we're going to try to do here is remove this and install the original reflector back on the corner, just so it pretty much matches. Okay, so basically take your your razor blade and try and get underneath the two-way tape or double-sided tape or whatever Okay, so scrape it the best you can. Get most of that two-way tape off. Okay, and then after you've got most of the two-way tape off, give her a good rub with your, you know, your thinner, your solvent, adhesive remover, you know, etc. And take two-way tape, preferably the good stuff for exterior use. If you have, you know, adhesive on the back of the whatever you're sticking on, whether it's an emblem or a reflector or whatever, and you can't get it off with your blade, touch it on a bench grinder or something like that to peel it off. Just watch your fingers. Take your two-way tape, put it on the reflector, take it down, then just give her a trim. quickly peel off the red backing. And then put it on the trailer. One thing I like about the 3M exterior grade tape is it pretty much, once it bites, providing, you know, the surfaces are clean and stuff like that. Well, that's, I got a couple more areas I want to address. And then we'll put the license plate on her and we'll take her for a drive. Okay guys, there you go. She's pretty much all done. She's all wired up. All cleaned up and everything. And good to go. And I thank you for watching Maxwell's World. And as always, comment, subscribe, and enjoy.